I've got to confess, my favourite moment of the decade is tinged with a bit of personal side to it, because I was there and I was lucky enough to be there and see the moment. It was at the Etihad when Sergio Aguero scored that late injury time winner. It was a game which City looked nervous, the crowd were nervous, the manager was biting his fingernails, Roberto Mancini back then. But I remember looking down from the gantry with Peter Drury, who I was commentating with that day, and we were in the top gantry at Manchester City. It's very, very high up there for the world feed broadcasters. And I remember looking down, and Roberto Mancini was on the touchline, and he was on his knees, and he'd gone. He thought he'd blown it. He thought his team had blown it. He was almost the fans were in tears. They were celebrating up in the northeast in Sunderland because United had thought they'd done it. Edin Dzeko come on, Balotelli come on, all the big hitters come on, and Dzeko got the equaliser in, I think 2 minutes, 92nd minute. Dzeko got the equaliser, but it still wasn't enough. People were still distraught. And then what seemed like the referee was going to blow his whistle, and United were celebrating at Sunderland. Balotelli flicked it on, and there was Sergio Aguero, and he's still doing it to this day. And there he was, and he rifled it into the back of the net, and the scenes at the Etihad were incredible. Peter Drury, who I've been commentating with for many a year, fantastic commentator, one of the most placid, gentle individuals you'll ever come across. My headphones almost come off my head. He was screaming. I thought I was going to have to pin him down to the gantry. I've never seen him like it before. That's the kind of moment it was. And for City, the first title in 44 years was theirs. But boy, they left it about as late as you could leave it.
You look at how this season finished. Okay, Manchester United finishing level on points. Sir Alex Ferguson says they expect to kick on from here. He's answered challenges in the past, in the Premier League era, when there's been big spending, whether it be at Blackburn or Chelsea, and now Manchester City. Somewhere down the line, United are able to get back into the race and start winning again. Or do you see in the immediate future City being the kings in England, that they'll push on from here and keep winning, Robbie?
They'll look to push on, they'll look to invest. They want to, now the next progression for them obviously is the Champions League, and they want to improve in that. So they will be bringing in more talent. This might be the start of something very long and successful for this club.
Are they worthy champions for you, Steve? You look at the fact that United threw away an 8-point lead and then it all turned on its head.
I think so. I mean, we always talk about, it'd be no use having 11 Maradonas on one team. And the one thing they have been missing is that team. They've got great players, but it takes time to get a team together. And what they did today is show you that as a team, they're actually getting together. And if you'd said to me, if I was just a neutral and I wasn't looking too deeply into things and said, here's a ticket, go and watch any team in the Premier League, I would go and watch Man City.
What do you anticipate this summer now for the Red Devils? It's almost as though they've seen their noisy neighbours walk away with the title and it's stirred the hornet's nest.
Yeah, I think what you need now is some kind of reaction, and I agree. You can't lose sight of the fact this was a transition season in which you integrated a bunch of young guys, some of them like Jones and Smalling, who you bought, some of them like Welbeck and Cleverley, who returned to the mothership. You will have spent the season assessing them, and then you ask yourself, right, who do I need to fill in around them? But again, let's not forget how they've overachieved. Let's not forget that David De Gea is going to come back after, I think finishing the season strong after everybody was slaughtering him back in August and September. The kid's just 21 years old. He's got a great future ahead of him. That's a positive. Welbeck's been a positive. Rooney ended up scoring a lot of goals. So, you put all those things together and there's a lot to build on. And, I don't even want to say that the gap between them and United and City is that big, because when you look at the points total, there was no gap. So I think if you're United, this season, you're all set up for a bounce next year.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.